How would it feel to book 3 new visibility opportunities in the next 30 days? New audiences, new exposure on media, podcasts, and stages. It is possible for you. And on this episode of the Camera Confident podcast, I'll be talking all about how. Stay tuned. Welcome to Camera Confident. I'm your host, Shirlee Engel, former TV correspondent turned entrepreneur. Tune in to master what to say, how to say it, and how to create buzz for your brand. Whether you're hitting record for the first time or trying to land major media opportunities, I've got you covered. Get ready to crush it on video or stage, attract more clients, and bring in more money so you can run your business and live your life your way. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Camera Confident podcast. Today, we're going to be tackling a topic that a lot of entrepreneurs and public speakers find a little bit daunting. 30 days, 3 opportunities. I'm telling you, it's possible to do it. So this episode is all about the key steps, 5 steps you're going to take to get there. So let's get started. Like any good storyteller, I'm going to start this episode with a story. When I launched my first business as an interior design professional, I was kind of spooked about being this brand new person in a new industry where I knew nobody and nobody knew me. But you see, I had something that I could lean into to quickly establish my authority, my credibility, and my presence. And that was the fact that I knew how to be on camera. I knew how to tell a story. I knew how to deliver my message and reach new audiences. And I knew how to get on those amazing platforms that could help me do that. So I quickly secured a morning show segment that I started doing regularly. I started speaking on stages at a local home show. And I really built my credibility quickly, much more quickly than I could have done by myself, battling it out on the gram with everybody else in that field. And I grew my business to 6 figures in the first year by doing that. I want the same thing for you. Whether you're just starting out or you've been doing this for a really long time and you want to get to that next revenue level in your business, you want to reach new audiences. This episode is all about breaking down how to create a plan to book at least 3 visibility opportunities in the next 30 days. And the first step is really about getting clear on your goals. If there's anything that you want to do in your business, you need to actually translate that dream from your brain to a page, to a screen, to a post-it note on your computer, whatever it is that you need to do to create a visual of that goal. Now, before you get into your head about this and think about what you think you can do, I am saying remove all hesitation. If I could wave a magic wand and deliver exactly the opportunities that you are aiming for in the next 30 days, what would they be? Podcast opportunities, an appearance on the morning show in your local market, a spot at a summit that's coming up where you want to reach new audiences and take the stage. What are those dream opportunities? Podcasts, for instance, a lot of them have a longer runway. There may be booking into the next quarter. So maybe you can do that pitch in the next 30 days and secure something to be on that podcast at a later date. Summits and stages definitely have a runway because there's a lot of planning involved in a live event, but something like a television spot doesn't have to be that far off. I've pitched segments to a morning show that have run the next week or a few days later. It really depends on the publication that you are targeting. The important thing here is to take the time to align those dream platforms with the goals of your business or whatever it is that you're trying to do as a public speaker or a thought leader. Because I want you to think of these opportunities as gateways. They're gateways, they're borrowed audiences. They're ways to literally get on someone else's soapbox and deliver your message. So it had better align with your business goals. So here's an exercise. If you're driving, save this for later. But if you do have a post-it note, a notebook, a screen open, I want you to now pause this podcast and write down what are the top 3 opportunities that you want to aim for in the next 30 days. Okay, have you done it? Great. Let's move on to number 2. This is an area that people come to me for help with all the time. Nailing your magnetic messaging. your marketing messaging. This is the magic formula of messages that you use to reel in, to lure your ideal client. When was the last time you took a really long, hard look at your messaging? When was the last time you repeated your elevator pitch out loud? Who are you? Who do you serve? What do you do? Do you feel really good about that? I have to go back and review my messaging regularly to make sure that it still aligns, that it still feels good, and most importantly, that I still feel great saying it out loud, that I can talk about it without a script. I have come up with a framework called the Key 5 Blueprint. The Key 5 Blueprint is all about identifying your messages as a business owner and the needs of your ideal client and making sure that your magnetic messaging, the messaging that really attracts and converts dream clients, is a nice combination of the two. Because you can't just go on there and talk about yourself the whole time. Nobody has time for that. What they want is to hear how you can help them, how they can benefit from listening to you. What kind of value can you offer to them? And in order to know what kind of value you offer them, you have to understand them in a way that few entrepreneurs who haven't actually deliberately taken the time to master this, a lot of them have missed this step. So before you go out there and start putting yourself on these podcasts, these media opportunities, these stages, make sure you get clear on that, because this is your opportunity to get out there and talk and inspire people and bring people into your world. And if you haven't taken the time to nail your messaging, that is going to trip you up, because you're going to go out there and you're not going to be crisp. You're not going to be compelling. You're not going to have clear calls to action. This is a critical step, and I encourage you not to skip this step. Now, if you need any help in this regard, I do have some resources that you can go and download. I will link those in the show notes. Things like your elevator pitch, which is the first place to start, and you can do a lot with that. So make sure to go grab that download if you need some help in this department. Step number 3, once you've identified the places you want to be, you've nailed your magnetic messaging, this is when you really get to work crafting the pitch. And the pitch is a whole other ball game. I will link in the show notes an episode that I did, me and someone who used to be a managing editor and an executive producer at a television show, Simon Osler. We talked all about the pitch and everything you need to consider and know for a good pitch. Now, we focused on television for that, but it's applicable to any kind of opportunity that you have that you want to go for. You want to make sure first and foremost, and I'll give you the Coles notes here, that you're pitching the right person. Please don't start your pitches with Dear Editor or Hi There or generic bot sounding stuff that is just going to get your email or whatever outreach you use put in the delete box or not read at all. So knowing the person, doing a bit of research is really important. The second thing is you're going to have to craft a compelling pitch. Just like you make social media posts where you're looking at what's my hook, what's my call to action, what's the value I'm offering. All of those questions are very similar in the process that you use to craft a compelling pitch. Every podcast is unique. Every media outlet has their own kind of style. Every stage has its own requirements. So you don't want to use a generic pitch for everybody, or it'll sound like something that you're just kind of, we call it spray and pray, which is you're trying to get on any platform you can and you have the same old pitch for everybody. Try to tailor your pitch for the unique opportunity. So that means doing the research, learning a little bit about the show, doing a little bit of legwork about who's the audience, what kinds of episodes have they had in the past, how can you offer value to that audience in a new way? Is there some kind of hook you can come up with that's tied to an event coming up? Something in the calendar, something that is pertinent to the time of year or the season or a holiday. There's so many ways that you can craft a pitch that answers the key questions, why you and why now? Do not deliver a pitch without making sure that you answered those two questions. And I'll throw in a third one, which is what's in it for the outlet that you're pitching? What's in it for them? That is going to make you stand out among everybody else because most people don't take the time to do this. Step number 4, effective follow-up. Look, sometimes your pitch will land on the wrong day, at the wrong time, person's on vacation, it's a breaking news day, they're really busy, and sometimes they miss it. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good idea or that they don't want to have you on. Sometimes they genuinely didn't see it. So a quick note to check in and make sure they received it doesn't hurt. You can wait, a day, 2 days, and then send them a note, just following up, making sure you got my pitch. If you're not interested, no problem. I just wanted to know either way, because you want them to know that you are giving them the opportunity to have you on first for something that that people won't get somewhere else, right? Because they don't want you to be sort of doing the rounds and they're just something to check off on your list. They're all looking to stand out. Again, no matter what it is, whether it's a podcast, a media opportunity, a stage opportunity, they want exclusivity. They want to be giving their audiences something that they won't get somewhere else. So make sure that they feel that you actually want to be on that show. You can always offer a deadline and say, let me know by Friday if you're not interested and I'll move on. And that kind of lets them know, look, if I want this, then I need to act fast. So that's something you could do. You could add some urgency to your follow-up. And of course, I want you to be successful. So step 5 is about getting camera ready. And this is all about preparing for the opportunity. So this starts long before you even get the yes. One thing I always work with clients on is it's one thing for it to be on paper or on a screen, but you need to practice saying it out loud. And whether it's going to be an audio only opportunity, remember, podcasts are not always just audio. This podcast is a video podcast. I'm on video right now. So you may need to be on video for this opportunity. If it's an in-person stage opportunity, well, you're going to want to practice that public speaking as well. You're going to want to get stage ready, which is, not that different from being camera ready in many ways. What are you going to wear? What's your look going to be? What's the vibe? If it's virtual, what's your background going to be like? Is there something you need to get in order to make this a more successful or authentic experience for those viewers? You have the time to get it right. And so in the weeks in between when you do your pitch, or however long it is, whether it's days or weeks or even months, you have the time to set yourself up for success and get camera ready and make sure that when you do have this opportunity, you knock it out of the park. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Step 1, getting clear on your objectives, creating that wish list of your top 3 and making sure that it aligns with your target audience and your business objectives. That's step 1. Step 2 is going to be nailing your magnetic messaging. Step 3, craft that compelling pitch and pitch the right people. Step 4 is the follow-up. Don't be a pest, but also don't ghost. And step 5, getting camera ready, getting yourself ready for that appearance so that you are set up for success whenever it happens. I would love to know what you thought of this episode and whether you came up with your list of 3 opportunities. Send me a DM, reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, on email. All the info on how to connect with me is in the show notes. And if you're ready to really get out there and get booked on media, podcasts, and stages, and you want some help nailing that magnetic messaging, getting camera ready, and creating that buzz when you do land those opportunities, you might be a good fit for Camera Confident Academy. The info is also in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this helpful and would love to hear your feedback. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to Camera Confident. Help us grow by subscribing, liking, and sharing this podcast. And be sure to follow me on LinkedIn at Shirlee Engel and on Instagram at b.camera.confident. See you next time.